Hello, everybody. I am here. Took a little bit longer than expected to get to the live point, but that is all good. As you jump in, whether you are watching live or later in the future on the replay, say hello. Let me know where you are watching from. And just because, first of all, I'm in LA, for those of you that don't know that. And because it happens to be raining today here in LA, and it will be raining this entire weekend, let me know what the weather is like in your neck of the woods when you are watching this. So we are here. This is a feature of the Blue Moon Manifestations community. It is a free monthly workshop or class that I do, and it is available in the Moon Manifesting Rockstars Facebook group if you happen to be in there. And I'm also live, and the replay will be on or in my YouTube community space. So that is fabulous. And make sure I can see my comments here. So what am I talking about today? What is this workshop about today? I'm going to share with you what a creative way to manifest, or a creative manifesting activity. And it's going to involve scripting, creative and or junk journaling in order to help you manifest the life that you want to be living, as well as the person living that life, how to script those into reality. So I will tell you what each of those things are, manifesting, junk journaling, scripting, if you don't know or are unfamiliar. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some examples and some ways that you can do that, because you can do it any number of ways. I will also come back as soon as the live here ends, and I'm going to put in some resources, like some places that you can go to get supplies, like recycled art supplies, low cost, free if possible, so that you can get started. And I'm also going to tell you how you can start with what you have available and how to personalize that or tailor or use the things in different ways. So this isn't going to be in a sense of a step-by-step workshop as to what to do, but I am going to show you what it is. I'm going to tell you and show you how to do this process and these activities, and then give you resources to help you get started, or to help you get materials, or to give you ideas and inspiration. So that's what we're going to cover here. And then this replay will remain available. I apologize, I don't have the date in front of me, but it'll be up for a few weeks, so that you have the opportunity to come back and check it out. You can also, if you are not able or weren't able to join live, you can then also watch it on the replay. Then it'll come down and we'll, get ready for next month's activity. And I say next month, this workshop would have actually normally happened in April. I know we're right before April, but this would normally have happened in April, because April is one of the 4 national journal writing months that we have. It's a national day that's observed. However, when I'm recording this, which is March 30th of 2024, we are just a couple days away from Mercury retrograde going into effect. So I figured, instead of, dealing with possible or more tech glitches, I will share this with you, and then I will leave it up for the majority of April, National Journal Writing Month, and I'll share more stuff about it in both places, in the communities, to prompt you and help you share, invite you to share, and all those things. So I am, aware of that in that sense. And then I'm going to share, like I said, some resources, and then I'm going to share a way, something new that I have created and that is now going to be available if you want to do this in a deeper way. If you want to, take it to another level, get a bit more personalized. But if this is good for you, this is also available for you to take it and run with it. So I have my little guide here keeping me on track. So first of all, I'm going to start with the basics. A friend of mine and I recently were realizing that getting back to basics or incorporating the basics on a regular basis is not only important for us, but it's also important because people are at different levels. And so for us to remember that, it was pointed out and reminded to us, from different aspects. So first of all, what is manifesting or what is manifestation? And my basic example or way that I explain that is that it is something that is an idea or a wish or a dream, something that lives inside of your brain, right? Imagination, a dream, a desire, a thought, a wish, something along those lines, like, so the idea or the desire or the wish is formulated. It starts in your brain, in your, inside of you, not on the outside. And then the process of manifesting is raising your, taking actions and becoming the person and doing the things that take it from inside here to where you're actually living it. So, because I did this, I think I saw myself do that. One of the things is think of it as a movie in your mind or in your imagination, and then actually stepping into and living and being part of the movie. But you are directing the movie. You are the writer and co-creator because you're working with, with the universe or whatever higher power, higher spirit, your higher self, your future self, however you choose to see that or work with that, you're co-creating this movie. And how absolutely perfect that I just thought of movie because I'm talking about scripting. So manifesting is this process, taking something from an idea or a dream to an actual reality. And scripting is a journaling practice. It's a journaling method and a manifestation method in which you write out your desired circumstances. You write your, the places that you want to see, the experiences that you want to have, the things that you want to have in your life, your career, relationships, places you want to go, anything at all. And you write that out as if you're writing a script for a movie or a TV show or a play, because when you write a script, right? If a person or you in this sense, in this method, if you or a person is writing a script, they don't write the words like, I want the character to walk across the stage, or I want the character to do this. It's like the character picks up, let's say that the character's name is Joey. I'm thinking of Friends, I guess. So in the script, Joey picks up the, whatever the prop is. Joey picks up the prop. And then in the script, the person also writes out Joey's lines in person. The writer doesn't say, I want Joey to say this. It says like Joey and then a colon, and then it writes out the lines that he will be speaking, and he's writing them as Joey will actually say them. Not like, I want Joey to say he's going to do this, or I want Joey to do this. It's in real time. And so that is the same idea of you using the scripting method to write out what you want your life to look like, what you want to be living, what movie you want to create and live and experience. And so you write it out in present tense. And I'm going to read you an example of something that I wrote so that you can help, actually wrap your mind around it. You can see how I wrote it, and I will explain, tell you what it's about, read it, and then tell you like, that's not what was, I was writing that in a different time, but I was feeling one way and wanted to feel another way. So the way I wrote it is as if I already felt that way, So there's many, many different ways that you can incorporate this scripting method. And then I am personally adding a creative component because I really love creativity, like scrapbooking, arts, crafting in any number of ways. Um, I'm not in the sense like I don't do like formal paintings or anything along those lines, but I do use paints in my journaling, in my creative journaling. So I am adding this creative component to the scripting, the scripting method, because I have found it has a lot, or it has additional benefits. Scripting by itself, I do that as well. It's not always in the creative form, but scripting helps you start to get clear on the things that you want to be experiencing. It helps you fill in the details. You don't have to know all the details to start, but it helps you start putting form to it on paper. So from your mind, you're now putting it on paper, and then you flush it out. You start say, hey, you read back through it or you look at it and you're like, okay, this is what I want to be experiencing. And you're like, hey, what's something I can do? What is something that I can do to move in that direction? What is one way that I can show up as that person right now? What is one thing that I can do differently than I do right now? And then you write that out in a script, and then maybe you go do it. You go actually live the script. You play out the script like actors do when they perform the script, or in the play or whatever. When they perform, they are portraying the script. So you write this script for yourself, you go do it, or you go live it, or you go try it. And then maybe you're like, okay, that wasn't quite right, or that's not how, hey, Carla, or that's not how I saw it playing out. Well, guess what? Guess what writers do? Guess what writers of scripts of plays and movies and TVs do? They rewrite them. They edit them. They get new ideas. They say, oh, okay, when it's being played out, it doesn't really flow, or it doesn't make much sense. And so they edit them. Editors, editing is an entire job. It's an entire job in many different capacities, all by itself. So don't feel like whatever you write out has to be the way that it's going to look, has to be the exact final draft, because most often it actually happens in a much different way, or it looks different than we imagine, simply because we are writing, or you are creating the script from what you know. You are creating the script from your life experiences, from the knowledge that you have, from the way of doing things that you know of. So there are infinite possibilities that all of us, we don't know all of them. We don't know all the ways. But getting this out and starting to act like that person will then attract those opportunities. It will give you the clarity by taking a step that you script in your journal. And even if you don't know the next step, by taking the step, acting out that script that you wrote, like, oh, okay, that's the next thing to do. Or that didn't work out well. That doesn't feel like it's actually playing out like I thought. Let me try this instead. And you can write it all out in whatever form you want. It doesn't even have to be in linear form. And I have never been in like the film industry, but I know people on, outer levels, not like really involved in it. For example, I know my brother has done some acting in like minor, like the independent films, and just from people that I know and the various businesses and things that I have come across, I know that they also film them. They film the movies and the things when it's film based. When it's a play, obviously they do play it out in, scene by scene, but they film them completely out of order because it's more convenient maybe obviously to film a scene or an area like when they're in this geographic location, even though in the movie they jump around, right? Like they're moving from place to place. But for convenience, for practicality, for time, the benefit of using time wisely, they film all the things maybe that are going to be happening here, there, even if it's completely out of order. So your script, your journal, your whatever can be out of sequence. It does not need to be linear and congruent. It can happen however you think about it, or whatever you're inspired to write about, and or edit, or create that moment. So please know that it doesn't have to flow perfectly. It doesn't have to look any certain way. It doesn't have to make any kind of sense, even to you. Because when we're writing and fleshing out ideas, it might not make sense. It really might not. Like, okay, this is just like random ideas that are coming to me. And that leads me to the next point. That's what scripting and manifesting and or what scripting is. And in that sense, and I'm going to pause myself here and say, whether you're live or on the replay, let me know if you have questions. Let me know if something doesn't make sense. And I will, if it's live, I will answer, give you the information. If it's on the replay, I will come back around and, answer your question or give you the information that you're looking for. And just as a pause point, let me know if you've ever done any scripting, if you have any experience at all whatsoever with scripting. And I participated in, I'm in a group, and when the gal says, I'm not going to use hers because she has her specific term. But if you have, or if you hear something, if you realize something from either something that I've said or something that simply pops into your mind because it what I say reminded you of something, let me know by putting the either like what it is. Like if it's an idea, it's like, oh, idea. Let me know that you've had this idea. Let me know what it is that comes up to you. If it's an aha moment, if it's like, oh, wow, like a, like, oh, clarity. You can, like do the little mind blown emoji, whatever it is, just share that, because not only is that cool for me to see that and say, yay for you, what it also does is help plant that, like embed that, or kind of lock it in your brain, even if you're not always thinking about it, by taking that moment to like document and acknowledge that you're having these ideas, that you're having these aha moments, that you are getting this clarity. It's like taking a moment to actually like lock it in your brain. Even if you don't consciously always remember it, it's now in there and it's solidified just a little bit more by you taking that moment to lock it in, to acknowledge it, to celebrate it. And it may seem silly and it may seem random, and maybe it is, but it's also very true. It's a way of helping you it's helping you create the new pathways in your brain. It's a start of doing that to lead you to taking different actions, to having new experiences, to living in different circumstances. That is the start, and you're enforcing it. That is the word I have been trying to think of. Enforcing it and strengthening it by simply taking those little moments to recognize them. So, I was getting into the benefits. What is a benefit other than, of course, creating and co-creating and experiencing these things that you're writing about and that you're scripting for your life and for yourself? This process, or this practice of incorporating creativity, which has been such an impactful thing for me, which is why I'm sharing it with you. The process and the act of creativity actually helps you strengthen and tune into your intuition, right? A lot of us say, I wish I was more intuitive. And we look to, oh, maybe I need to read more tarot cards, or I need to, I don't know, meditate more to get, and those are fabulous things. But it's also, what I have found is it keeps me thinking about or focused on, if I'm meditating and I'm looking to be more intuitive or to get something from my information, for my intuition, I'm really thinking about that. And that's what I'm focusing on while I'm doing that, right? And the same with tarot cards or spreads. I love them. I use them. I have a whole container full of card decks. I love them and they're fabulous. But sometimes when we have that thing that we're super focused on, we really don't allow, or it doesn't allow for those ideas and that intuitive guidance or that intuitive information that we're looking for. And maybe it works, for you, it's different. I can only share from my actual experiences, but for me, creating something, like the process of putting something together and, putting all the pieces and finding all the things and focusing on that actually opens the door. It makes it easier for me to get those intuitive insights and for me to listen and hear my intuition, because my brain, my practical brain, is focused on something else. And that's how it started. And it was not easy at first. I really wanted to follow tutorials and I wanted to follow examples so that I would know whatever the creative thing I was making was going to look like, right? And if you can relate to that, let me know, because you want to know, our brains want to know what things are going to look like. They want to know the outcome and the result. So it started with being very hard and uncomfortable and like, I don't know what to put on this canvas. I don't know what to create. I don't know what I want it to look like. And so, yes, I did look at tutorials for inspiration, and sometimes it was great. And sometimes it was like, oh man, I did what they said, but it still didn't come out. Like it doesn't look like theirs, right? Think of, Pinterest things. Like when people say, see a Pinterest recipe and then they show the actual, or those memes, like, this is how I envision it. This is how it really came out, right? So tutorials have a place. I share them as well sometimes. So it's a great place to start. But what ended up happening is, because I'm like, I don't like the comparison so much. So I'm just going to start creating stuff, even if it's uncomfortable, even if I don't know, even if it's just half completed, even if it's just a start and it's not a finished product, and that's enough. And then I add to it. And then I come back and maybe tweak it. And maybe tomorrow night instead of tonight, so when I come back to it tomorrow, it's like, oh, hey, that's cool. Now this would look good there. Or what if I try this there? So it actually also serves the purpose of helping you listen to and tap into your intuition to actually create the thing that you're creating and get that intuitive insight or hit or guidance for the thing that you're actually looking for it as well. So it strengthens your intuition. It helps you see the different ways that your intuition communicates with you, how you receive the information, how it sends the information, how it plays out, and it helps you start to trust yourself because you are creating something uniquely yours. Some days you will love it. Some days you'll be like, ooh, no. And there are still days that I'm like, ooh, that I don't know about that one. But you know what? I leave them there. I used to cover them up, or I used to try and redo them, or like rip that page out of the journal. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, I just leave it there. Maybe a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, I'll look at it and can either make something of it, or it simply stays like that forever. That just happened to be how that went late, how that one stopped halfway through or whatever. And knowing that that's okay is still a process for me. And you might be in a place where you don't want to leave, as you start this, you don't want to leave the unfinished ones or the ones you don't like. That's okay. There is no right or wrong. You will start to realize, just like I did, I used to take them out because I didn't want to see them. And it was like, oh, I didn't like that one. So toss them out. We evolve, we learn, we develop. Maybe you'll never want to leave your unfinished ones in there. That's not, that's you. You do you. and evolve and grow and, follow your journey and your path and your experiences. And I do the same. And that's the beauty of it. So, helps you tap into your intuition and get the insights. So, we talked about benefits. And yes, by also focusing your mind or focus on creating, that opens the door, kind of like the back door, or like a secret door maybe you didn't even know about, for ideas to come in, for inspiration, for next steps, for answers to questions, for resolutions to problems to come in and be like, oh, hell, why didn't I think of that? Well, it's because you were you're too focused on figuring it out. And that has been a huge lesson for me recently. Just letting go of trying to figure it out in my own brain and letting the universe send me the answers, provide the information, hand things to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's like definitely like this process of like, as soon as I let go of it and created it, it's like, here's the answer. Here's the answer. Here's the information. Here's the next step. Here's what it should look like. Because I stopped trying to figure it out. So that's the technical stuff, or the, kind of like the background stuff. So now let me get into that sample that I told you I would read for you, from mine. And then I'm going to show you, how do I have it here? I'm going to show you examples of junk and creative journaling that I have made. I'm also going to show you different things that you can use and incorporate, so that you maybe don't have to go out and get anything. And and I wrote down here too, a benefit of this creativeness is fun. You have fun, hopefully, if art and creativity and creating things is fun for you, or you find that hopefully it's fun or enjoyable or relaxing, right? Maybe you'll really dig this creative thing like I do. So I'm going to read the sample for you, and I'm going to show you the page that it's on, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. Okay, we're at 11:30, so we're good. Okay, so this that I'm going to read is when I definitely noticed that I was more in a lack mindset, or focusing on what I didn't have, what I couldn't do. And we all have those moments, no matter how much we know that they're not beneficial. It's like, but it's good. It's also good to experience and be aware, and then do something intentionally to move out of that space and into a more positive and more beneficial space. But experiencing the lack and realizing it is also good. It's part of the process. So that's what I was. I noticed that I was in this lack and focusing on that type of space. So what I wrote while I was in that space, mind you, okay, keep that in mind. I wrote, how did I develop the mindset and energy of having plenty when my default, even when I had more disposable income, was lack, what I didn't have? The short answer is trust and faith, combined with remaining and also getting back to the moment that I'm in and what I have plenty of, or even enough of, barely enough of, or even just having some, because each of these are more than none. And then mixing in letting go of judgment. Lack came from, so I'm writing this as if it's in the present. Lack came from focusing on what I couldn't pay for or get, and plentiful thinking comes from realizing what I have in the moment and trusting that the rest will work out, so long as I practice gratitude now for what I have and do what I can take the steps I can while acknowledging and knowing that if I'm not at the level I want, I need to do things differently and see things in a different way from a different perspective. Truly looking at what I do have plenty of in order to attract having plenty for what I need and want. So it's a little rambly and it's a little all over the place, but that's the point. I'm simply writing as if it's in the moment right now. And I started in a place of lack thinking, but I was writing as if I was already out of that. I was writing as if I was already past that and in the plentiful mentality, and I was writing how I got out of that. So really, I was writing the script for myself to follow, and I was acting out that script as I was writing it as well. And when I finished that journal entry, I then wrote a list of things I had plenty of in this moment. I wrote, in this moment and on this day, I have plenty of air to breathe, money to pay my rent, money to buy coffee and creamer because I had just gotten back, or apparently I just got some, or I saw it, whatever. Plenty of food to eat, opportunities, known and unknown, plenty of ability, resources, knowledge, friends, soap, see, random, blankets, things I am looking forward to, love, things, people, and experiences that make me smile and laugh. That's what I had plenty of in that moment. And it was, even reading it back now, it's like, damn, that's a lot of good shit. Right? So that's what I wrote. Scripting my way out of lack thinking or lack mentality into one of plentifulness. And so what I did is, this is my little creative little entry I had already created. When I started writing this, the background was already done. Like the paper was already glued down. This was just kind of empty. So I had a piece of like shipping paper here and I had a sticker. So all I did was come in and start writing in these spots. And then this is the junk journaling aspect. It's like this paper was repurposed. It's like that packing paper you get in packages. And this happened to be cut out from a package of cheese, like a spreadable cheese, I think it says. Cheese spread, Shanti cheese spread. So I cut out the little emblem or whatever from the packaging. And that's what I wrote my list of things I had plenty of on the back of that little emblem or tag or packaging, whatever it is. So junk journaling is journaling using things that might otherwise have ended up in the trash. That's why it's called junk journaling, at least the way I understand it, because you're using what would otherwise be considered junk because it'd be thrown away, and you're repurposing it and you're giving it new life and you're creating something out of junk. And so there are people that do strictly junk journals where everything in them is something repurposed or scraps of something or leftovers, things that they found or that they come across. And that's okay. I tend to combine mine with just general craft and creativity, like stickers, washi tape here. And I cut this off of a piece of paper, I think a pad. And then I have stamps that I use, like over here, this little stamp here. So I combine a little bit of everything. And so I'm using this because this is a very small little book. Do I have? I don't think I have. Ooh, see? Yes, I do. I have a ruler. So this is not a regular standard size, journal or book. It's just a little book. It is like 5.5 inches, just Where's the halfway mark? Right there's half. A little bit more than 5.5 inches tall and about 4 inches wide. So it's a tiny little book and it fits into other books. It doesn't take up much space. And also it doesn't feel as intimidating, right? It doesn't feel as intimidating to finish it or create it. It's not like this big, huge page that you need to fill out. And so I will give you a quick little flip through. Like this had no writing in it whatsoever. This was just simply a page of stickers. What did I put up there? Dream Without Fear is up at the top. That was a stamp. This was a wax seal that I had taken off of a card that I made and I put on there. Again, I used packaging paper to put a stamp on. And that was no writing whatsoever. That was just creating. And then here I used all sorts of materials as well. I used this, oops, I have to see it backwards. This came from a card, like a thank you card that came in an order. And I have several of these cards. So I got a lot of orders from this person, but it's mostly, art journal supply stuff. So I cut out the girl from the card and I kind of made it look like she was looking at the moon, right? She was looking at the moon through this, wonky little window that I created. And then on this side, I just had a scrap of paper that I ripped up and a sticker. And I wrote something like, I wrote Moon Musings. What is it about the moon? And then I just started, musing about the moon. She's always there. And one of my favorite things about the moon is how it helps me feel and deepen the connection I have with my ancestors and everything that has come before me. So I wasn't trying to work my way into anything. This was just happened to be real-time thoughts, my musings about the moon in that moment. Here's another junk piece. This came from a bag, like this paper bag shop, like you get like the gift bag style, with the little loops on top. And so this was from a shop that I bought something from in Santa Barbara and I liked it. So I just cut out the emblem and I haven't written anything on this one. So this one's kind of half started, partially started. Don't have anything on this side yet. Here's the one I already showed you. And then here is one I haven't used yet, but for traveling. So I'll show you in different parts. This is a card. This is a card that I got from a friend, like a little thank you card, and it has a map. Oh, the lighting is awful. It has a map, like a street map kind of grid of New York, I believe. So that's the card, and then here's, she wrote something on the back. Then I found in some other paper, like scrapbooking type paper, I found this map. And the rest of the paper parts of the paper had been used for something else, like I'd cut it out. So I just cut out the map part. And then this card was something I found, I want to make memories all over the world. And then there's a place to write on the back. So this one is ready for me to use. But the time I, created this was still creating. So I have these little mini so-called blank canvases that I can come back and use in the future. And then, for example, what I will do probably on the back where my friend wrote, right, I'll just use some washi tape like I have here and maybe stick something over this. It's really weird doing this backwards. Stick something, tape something here. And so I'll still write something, but I'll still be able to lift it up and see what she wrote for me, right? I'll still have the card, but it's this little travel motif. And I'm going to Boston in April, in about just a little less than a month from now. So maybe, I'll write something about a memory that I made there on the back of that little card. And over here, since it's not anything like this isn't a card that was sent to me, I might write around the edges or, I don't know, doodle something or maybe print out a picture and put the picture on top of here. Who knows? So this is the concept. Washi tape, if you're not familiar with it, is like very thin tape that comes in many different colors and patterns. And it's really great for sticking extra pages in like this. You can stick them in between and use them as like to create a little flap. This is washi tape up here, holding that there. So it is, you can get them in so many styles and from so many places. This right here is just a page from a magazine. So I might put a picture on top of that. Or I might put, again, something like this on top of that and write whatever it is I feel like writing that day. This one isn't so much junk. The only junk is the wrapping paper. Like I said, I have a lot of this packaging paper. So I just slapped that in the middle, stuck a sticker up here, and this is a cutout of stuff that I got from journaling supplies. I haven't used this one either. It's just there ready for me whenever I feel the need. This one, I have sheet music. I got a book of sheet music from a thrift store. And so sometimes I did that one. I cut out some sheet music. This was the edge of the page. I glued that there. So now I might put something on top. I could just start writing here. I could put pictures there, you know, and then that's where I've stopped on this little book. So that's a way using these little books. And this book I got from a gal on Instagram. She has Instagram live sales. That's one of the resources I will be linking for you. It's called Starseed_homestead is the Instagram handle. But again, I will be linking all this for you. So I got this little book off of a live sale, but you can use any book. And that's what I'm going to get into now to kind of wrap up and give you guys a place to start, give you guys ideas for things to use. And these are things that I actually am actively using or have handy and available to me. This one I haven't started repurposing, but I did do a bigger one like this. So this is a planner, right? A planner I ordered. It's a Panda. It's a Panda planner. I don't know if you can see the little embossing there. And so I ordered this planner. I don't know when, because I always get them undated. But this was back in 2023. So I started writing January 2023, but I didn't end up finishing it. I have, ended up a different planner, or this, I just didn't stick with it. But now I have this book, right? I have this book, and it's a planner that I'm not going to use. So this is in my pile of books to repurpose. I can now take this book and turn it into a junk journal. I can glue pages, scrapbook pages on top. I can paint over it. And I don't have a lot of space, so I kind of have things for today's class piled around me because I did want to show you things. So if you don't know what I mean by paint, like paint the pages, you could paint over these pages if you don't want to use them in that way. I take those acrylic paints that you could get at any craft store. Do I have a blank one that I can show you? If not, I'll show you a used one. Okay, so I don't have a blank one, but I have one that I've used. And this I also got from a thrift store. It's just a sketchbook. It's an art supply book. And so what I did is I took paint, those acrylic paints. I just put a couple blobs on the page, and I took do I have one of those? I took an old gift card. I save the old gift cards or expired credit cards, and I used it to spread around the paint. And then I added another color. So this is like blue and white, kind of smushed all over. And I just used the credit card or the little plastic card to spread it around. See, like that one has much more white showing through it. Do a scrape, move it around. And so that's what I mean by painting your journal pages. You could also, this is a page that I have in here. It was from a calendar, right? So June 2021, this picture was on the back of it. It's just a blank page with, the moon up in the corner. So I took that page from that book calendar and now I have it in here so that I can use it as a background. I can use it as a background on a page. And then here was just a background I made with a stamp. I just repeated the pattern over and over. Haven't used that one either. Sometimes the process of creating the pages, the backgrounds, that's enough of a creative process. Or I have limited, just a little bit of time. Maybe in the evening before I want to, I still need to wind down or whatever. I just create the backgrounds, or I create the spreads that I will be then writing in or creating in the future. And also, good Lord, see, this is never ending. There's so many ways that you can do this. In this same book, I have a spread of cards. So it's a 2-page spread, but these are cards I received, like orders that I made for someone, just a little note thanking me. I wrote this on a tag, like I wrote that these are, this page reminds me of how abundant I am. These thank you cards are all from friends, some for personal thank yous and some for making a purchase from their business. I am abundant in friends and in my ability to support them. So I made I taped or glued in the thank you notes they sent me. And this way they're not sitting in a drawer. And I have them kind of, have several of them laid out here in a book. And like today, randomly, I'm coming across it. When you look through stuff and you're like, hey, that was really cool. You're reminded, and you can look through those cards again. And they're not simply sitting in a drawer, or they're not in the trash, right? So that's not necessarily scripting, but that's junk journaling in the sense that I made that spread out of cards that would have ended up in the trash or even in a drawer. And I wouldn't really be able to appreciate them unless I specifically, was rummaging through the drawer, which can happen. So that's that aspect. Reusing old books, old planners that you didn't use or didn't finish, make them into a junk journal or a creative journal. Little books like this, different sizes. Yesterday, I had a co-working day with a friend of mine. I did a story, I was out there. This was the napkins. These were the napkins from where we had lunch. So I saved, I grabbed them, and the ones we didn't use, with our lunch, I saved them. It's just writing. The restaurant was Dave's Hot Chicken. So it has different sayings. I don't know, to live and fry in LA. So I might, in a junk journal or in a journal, glue these down, glue the page down, and maybe that's the page, and then I write over here. Or maybe I glue this down, Mod Podge it, whatever the case is, and then I put something on top of it. And this is simply the background to the page. So you start looking at things that can be reused in different ways. Like, hey, how can I reuse that? And this is not an invitation to simply create, collect random junk. I have my boundaries. I have what's it called? Not a Rubbermaid tote, because it's not one of those huge ones, but I have a plastic container that I could sit down in front of me. It's not super huge. And that's where I put like these, random things, like the random pieces of paper, the packaging. Here's the packaging paper that I showed you, I use. So I have, and I put stuff in there. And if it's full, then I don't add to it. I don't just, because it could get out of hand very easily. If you have more storage, maybe you have a better storage system or just simply more space, but you can start repurposing random things. And you may be familiar with vision boards, right? Vision boards where you cut out things from magazines and you put things like pictures and images and words. I might do a workshop specifically on vision board journaling, because I do that too. This is one I cut out, money. And for example, the reason I have that one is because I have a list and I started writing it out on a piece of paper, and I'm going to turn that into a journal spread. And the list is things that I want to spend money on that are not necessities, like the big audacious, ooh, wouldn't it be fun to do that? So I don't know what the spread's going to look like yet, but I simply cut out the word money from some page in a magazine. And so what I'm going to do is however I make the spread, I'm going to have money there. And then I'm going to write my list. I'm going to write my list of things that I am going to spend money on. And things like, for example, these are real things that are going on that list. I want to have season passes to all of the amusement parks around here, like Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, Universal Studios. So that's going to be on my list. Things to spend money on, like frivolous, fun. Once all of the necessities are taken care of, what do I want to spend my money on? And season tickets to a ball game, to the Dodgers. I'm a big Dodgers fan. I'm going to write a list, and I have other things that I want to do, for other people. My dad once said he would like to go on, what was it? The airline that has, I forgot the name of it. I'll see a commercial for it. But that where you can take a shower up in the sky. It's not the Richard one. I'll think of it. But I'm going to write that on there, have my, take my dad on a trip on this airline or whatever. And so those are the things. And I'm going to write like it's a list of things to do, like list of things to do and experience and have. And whatever I happen to write on the side of that, I'm not going to say, I wish I had these things. I'm going to write something like, it feels so damn good to have these things. I am having so much fun, spending my money on this. And this is going to be my, things I'm going to spend money on. Create a little spread that way. And so you can use cutouts from a magazine in that way. And so that they don't get out of hand, I also keep them in an envelope. And they can be journal prompts, right? So here's one. Finding my purpose. That's something that felt good, so I cut that out. That could be a journal spread. It could be a prompt that I start writing about. Best trip for you. That could be a journal spread or a prompt or whatever. Keeping these little things around. I followed my heart. I'm like, ooh, that's going to be a good one. I pick an example, and that's a great scripting prompt. Or I'm writing about it now ahead of time, and I'm scripting that into reality. So those are just a few touch points of ways that you can start by using things that you have around. This is another planner that I had. I did not use. So this is perfect for a junk journal or a creative journal. And the last thing, I think it's the last thing I have, and I'm pretty close to time here. So other ideas of things that I keep, I have already showed you the cards that I keep. I have receipts, and you could glue these to the page and make that the background and glue something on top of it. This was tissue paper in a present, right? I didn't keep all of it. I just kept a piece of it. That'd be a really cute background. And so what I do, because I know people say, well, where do you keep all this? I have that tote, like I told you, that has all the things. And what I've done is, again, repurpose. This box that I ordered something in, something that I ordered, it came in this box. This is what I keep around me. So this has got little notebooks, packaging from things that I've ordered. That was from an essential oils order. Stickers. I have an envelope, right, that I can use. More of those cards like I had for the map. I just keep them here. So these are what I work with. And then when I run out of space here, I get the ones from the bigger box. But it's in stages. But I have my boundaries of what I can and do have space for, so that it's not just, so it doesn't become a dumpster fire or a dumpster pile of trash. And I think that's all I have for you guys. Teaching or wise, I have this thing called a traveler's notebook. And it is a notebook or a leather cover that you can add. I use this as my planner and my wallet. So this is one that comes with me. You can have these little books, different books. And like this is my book of lists. And then this is my just random ideas. If I'm ever out and about, I write them down. And then in the back, I have stickers. In the back pocket, I have stickers so that I can do something creative on the fly or when I need to pass time or whatever the case is. So all of these things that like the where to get a traveler's notebook, some resources for finding and finding recycled and repurposable materials at free or low cost. I'm going to link that in the comments or in the description as well. And I'm going to link. Was there another thing I was going to link? I thought I wrote that down. But if I did, it's not in front of me. So I will link them. You will have the resources to find things. The Instagram page where I get a lot of my journaling supplies. And the last thing that I'm going to share with you, and then we will call this a wrap, is that I have a course, and it up until now it has been DIY, and it's called Manifesting Me with the Moon, and it talks, I walk you through or show you on recorded lessons different intentions that you can set with the moon. And so you can journal, and I regularly do journal intentions as well, and journal the action steps that I'm going to take at the first quarter moon time. And so again, scripting this and writing this ahead of time as if it's happening helps me get in that mindset, helps me get into that frame of thinking, that way of thinking, and seeing things actually play out in what I'm creating. And so my course has been DIY up until now. And one of those answers that I told you about, that once I stopped trying to figure it out, I was simply handed, and that clarity given to me, gained from by what the universe handed me, was to create that or turn that course into an actual living program. So this is what it's becoming. And on April 1st, which is as of the day I'm recording this, is 2 days from now, the price of the course is going to go up. And so right now it's at $44 because that's the price the course was as DIY, because you could jump in, get it anytime you wanted. There was no live component to it. And so once you purchase the course, and up until April, only today and tomorrow, really, it's at $44, you automatically get, whenever you purchase it, you automatically get any future upgrades for no additional cost. Anything that I add to that program is automatically added to your, in the class site. You don't have to do anything extra. What I'm adding right now is live coaching and mentoring. So for those of you who already have the course, you automatically get this. And what I wanted to do for a limited time was level up the playing field. So anybody that does not have the course yet, who has thought about it, or maybe you didn't even know about it, everyone up at today and tomorrow, I started talking about this a week ago. So it's been, gave myself a bucket of time, a limited amount of time. Everyone can get the course right now as if there is no coaching component yet, at the price of the DIY course by itself. Get it at the $44 and you will automatically get the coaching component included. Now here's where it's different. You pay the one-time price for the course. Whenever you happen to get it, you pay the one-time price. You have indefinite, ongoing, and as long as the program lives in this way, access to coaching. You can jump on. It's going to be a monthly call. If you have a question, if you have something you want coaching on, jump on the call. If there's a stretch of time, maybe you go 6 months or whatever, where things are good and you don't need any type of feedback, great. And then something happens or you're moving into, working towards something else, you jump back in on the coaching calls whenever and as often as you need them. It's just indefinite. I will be doing a monthly coaching call, answering questions, also providing information, sharing aspects of manifesting with the moon and becoming the person that you are scripting into reality. So I will be doing those calls monthly indefinitely. And if that course, if that program ever changes dynamic, you will never lose access to the materials. The materials in the class site now and anything I add to the actual class site are yours to keep forever and all time. I don't know what it's going to look like. And this is also one of the things that I have been guided. It's like, I really need to lean into being okay with I don't know. I realized that trying to know all the things, just like I was talking about earlier, was this resistance of me creating and having something to offer. It's like, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how long I'm going to have it. I don't know. But right now, get in on this ground floor, edition of coaching at $44, because on April 1st, it's going to go up, and it's going to reflect the fact that there is ongoing coaching, and it's going to go from $44 to $444. And that's because you have lifetime access for the life of as long as the program lives this way, to get access to coaching on a monthly basis. So get in on the 44 if it's something you're interested in, or if you simply want the course materials and any future add-ons. And maybe you'll need coaching down the line and you just don't realize it yet. You can't beat that for $44. You also can't beat it when it goes up to, $444. But right now is this crazy time where I'm like, okay, doesn't make sense, but I'm putting it out there, and I'm giving everybody right now within the scope of Blue Moon Manifestations land, because I didn't run ads to other people. I only shared this with my email list, within my group, within the YouTube community, in my pages. So anyone who is currently aware of or has access to Blue Moon Manifestations things. And for those of you that happen to catch this in the future, if you do, it will no longer be at the $44 price, but you will still be able to access the course, and the program will still be available. So if you have questions, let me know. I am really excited. The first group call is going to be on April, I think it's 7th or 8th. They're going to be around the time of the new moon, but not on the days of the new moon, because this will not be where we do like circles or rituals. It really is a coaching and mentoring space. So I will be doing the calls either slightly before or slightly after the new moon to help you and give you feedback on intentions or where you happen to be with what you're working on. And then you can do all your magical goodness, what that you would normally do or not do for the new moon. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited about moving forward in that first call. And it will be available. If you get this later on, I'm going to share in that first or share a bit in the group about what this looked like for me, what this process was for me of getting to this point, and what resistance, what belief and thought I realized that became clear to me that I didn't even realize I had. I didn't realize I had this undercurrent, just like I talk with you guys about, of a belief that was holding me back. And that's why I'm on this journey with you guys. I'm not done with learning this stuff. I'm not done with implementing this stuff. I happen to simply be here showing and sharing with you how to do it, and sharing my experiences with it, because it's a lifelong ongoing process, which is why I love working with the moon so much, because it provides a framework. It is a cycle, just like life is cyclical. The seasons are cyclical. Time is not linear. It works in cycles and seasons. And so I'm really excited to move forward with this. And I'll be sharing, like I said, some of my insights about that I got about resistance, and helping you guys with your intentions, with your, aspects that you want to work on for yourself, and how to incorporate the zodiac to help you. And I've already got so many ideas of things to add to this program as it grows, as it develops. It's a living, breathing, ongoing program that will have things added to it. And I've already have ideas about incorporating, not sections, units in the course about creativity and journaling and all the things that I love, right? And so there's the core components that are already included in that. And then I will be adding extra things to help along the way. And anytime you get the course, you obviously get what's already there. And then you get anything automatically that I add in the future. So if y'all have questions, let me know in the comments. And if you're watching this on the replay, or something, you think of something, if you were on the live and you think of a question, you can comment or you can message it to me, or you can also email it to me. And the email is vision, VISION at bluemoonmanifestations.com. And I think that's it. So let me know, share in the comments, wherever you see this, anything you create, what you decide to use as a junk journal, what fun objects or materials you find to use. And if you check out any of the resources, like the recycled and repurposed art supplies that I will be linking here, let me know if you use them or what you find in your local area. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see how this plays out. And happy coming up April. If you're watching this before April 1st, if you're watching this throughout April, happy April and Aries season. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.